This message is for you if you are a cybersecurity account executive. If you fix these 3 bottlenecks that I'm about to reveal for you, you will sell $1 million or more this year of managed security services. Okay, there are 3 core things that are stopping you right now within your sales process from making more sales. That's hurting your commissions. That's hurting your ability to earn, to provide for your family, and to live the life that you want. And I want to help you to remove these problems. So let's jump into it. The root of the problem is really kind of simple. It takes an average of about 7 hours of interaction for a prospect to feel confident and trusting enough to decide to do business with you. And by interaction, I mean that is not necessarily 7 hours of you talking to them on the phone or one-on-one via meetings. That's 7 hours of them maybe having some of you talking to them on the phone, but that could also be having conversations internally with their team, or maybe reviewing marketing materials, or really just 7 hours of them really in deep thought about making a decision about whether or not they want to do business with you. For the average MSSP, you're likely working a process right now that the only way that your relationship is advanced, the only way that this 7 hours is built is through one-on-one time and meetings and effort and energy, one-on-one phone calls or email follow-ups to try to get people on the phone. And this is a huge bottleneck to growth within you hitting your on-target earnings this year and exceeding the numbers that you want to hit. So let's go ahead and jump into the 3 things. So number 1 is it is impossible for you to reach your performance goals if you're not receiving enough qualified leads, and even more importantly than leads is sales appointments. So if you have a quality sales appointment, meaning someone that is already pre-sold on doing business with your company, they're already excited, they already see you and your company and the service that you offer as top-notch. They've already compared you against everyone else. They've already understood the value that you bring to the table. They see the gaps in their security posture and they want to solve this problem, and they've booked an appointment in your calendar. If you have multiple of those happening on a daily basis, there's no way that you can not hit your performance goal, right? There's no way that you can not hit your on-target earnings. So one of the biggest bottlenecks to most companies that we talk to is that they don't have any systematic way of generating quality sales appointments, and that's more important than just leads, but sales appointments with prospects who are pre-sold. There's no system. They're typically getting referrals, word of mouth, or they're going to trade shows, or they're telling their BDRs to cold call for them, and the quality of these appointments aren't very good, and the people don't really know or understand the value that they offer, so the AEs are focused on either an empty calendar or not being able to take these prospects through the process. And that brings me to the second point. The second point is the second bottleneck, and that is you can only really advance your deals right now through one-on-one time, effort, and energy, right? The only way that you're able to take a prospect from a first introduction into a closed deal is through your own one-on-one time. And this is a massive traffic jam and bottleneck, right? If the only way that you can advance a deal is through a one-on-one meeting, having the same conversation about security, and making the same exhausting follow-up motion where you're calling, emailing, trying to follow up, hit them up online with multiple different decision makers, you only have so much time in the day. You only have so much people that you can accurately follow up with and make contact with. And that quickly creates a traffic jam within your sales process that only allows you to handle so many quality opportunities at once. And it makes things messy, confusing, and eventually causes problems. The third bottleneck, this one is for the sales managers. So the problem for sales managers is that when your team is working an inefficient process, you're faced with the challenge of trying to get them to grow their performance. So in order to do that with an inefficient process that relies upon one-on-one time, you need more people. So you're forced to start recruiting, hiring, training, ramping, and managing a sales team because your process is inefficient. And it makes it really hard to grow sales performance and for you to get rewarded for growth of sales performance, right? Because that's really what we all want, is more revenue, more opportunity for our company so that we can get paid more, right? So this creates several different problems, and let's jump into those. But first of all, I want you to imagine this. Your sales process right now is like a game of golf. I want you to take a step with me and sort of mentally imagine a game of golf. There are 2 sides to a game of golf. If you don't know, there's your long game, and that involves placing the ball on the tee, taking out your driver, and trying to cover a lot of distance at one time. You're trying to cover hundreds of yards in one shot and basically cover distance. The second side of golf is your short game, and that comes about when the ball is really close to the hole, and the job at that point is to take out your putter and maybe cover a distance of, maybe a few yards or a few meters, and try to get the ball in the hole. So there's two sides to the game of golf, and the problem right now is that you're being forced to play the game of golf, so to speak, with only a putter. So if you imagine your sales process as a game of golf, your company right now is forcing you to use your putter to play a game of golf, right? Because the only way that your deals are advanced right now is through your specific one-on-one time and energy. And what this does is that it multiplies the amount of work, effort, pain that is required in order for you to make a deal. The next thing is that it extends your sales cycle. Because it takes so long to follow up and to corral all these different decision makers that are involved in a deal, it extends the amount of time that it takes for you to close a deal. You spend a lot of time in voicemail, or you spend a lot of time not getting replied to, or you spend a lot of time getting ignored, and overall that lowers your close rate because you can't be perfect in terms of your cadence and your timing, and it just makes things harder. The next bottleneck is pretty clear. Because of this one-on-one time and energy, and because of the one-on-one nature of your current follow-up, it puts a glass ceiling on your ability to sell managed security, because there's only so much time in the day. There's only so many calls that you can make, especially when you're working a system where most people today don't answer the phone, nor do they typically want to engage in a salesperson until they already understand and have made a decision in their mind. So your sales process is really making it hard for you to earn the amount of money that you want to earn. So you end up earning less in terms of commissions, and you have more work and more headache. So what I want you to understand is that in this golf analogy that I'm talking about, right now you're playing with a putter, but what you really need is the other half of the game, right? You need marketing on your team to be able to help you to cover a lot of distance with these prospects, to warm them up, to build the relationship, to educate them about the questions that you typically have to answer during your sales process to all the various different decision makers, to get their mind going so that before the phone conversation happens with you one-on-one, a lot of the selling is already done. A lot of the typical security education is already done. A lot of the explanation of the value that you offer is already done. And so that these prospects already understand the value that you provide. That is a much better way for you to unlock the bottleneck within your sales process to earn more money. I'm going to explore with you and explain how exactly you can do that. So this is what we help MSSPs to do. We have a process called the MSSP growth machine. And our sole focus and goal is to help you as an account executive sell $1 million or more of managed security this year with less work, less headache, less frustration, less one-on-one follow-up, and less BS. Okay, that is our only goal, is we work with your company to supercharge your process to allow you to do more with less. That is our only goal and vision for you, is to help you. So how do we help you to close more deals? So we help you to become $1 million plus producer. Right now, again, your sales relationships are only advanced through one-on-one time. This is an enormous bottleneck and glass ceiling on the amount of sales that you can make and the amount of commissions that you can earn. Our system removes these one-on-one bottlenecks to allow you to sell multiple times more managed security with less work. What we do is we provide an abundance of pre-sold opportunities for you where the work is already done. So we help you by setting up 15 or more super high quality sales appointments with prospects where the majority of the selling is already done. 15 appointments on a monthly basis within your calendar with your dream prospects, with companies who fit the exact bill of what you're looking for in the exact industry that you're looking for, who already understand what you have to offer, the value, and I'll explain a little bit more of what these prospects are going to come to these appointments already knowing, to understand how this is going to help you. The third thing is we help you to sell less and close more. So less of the tedious day-to-day sales work of follow-up, of getting rejected, of no one answering your calls, and more of the work that you actually enjoy doing. So prospects, again, are going to come to these phone appointments where the majority of the work is done in the background in terms of at least the education, the building of value, the giving of the unique selling proposition to understand why you're unique and better. So prospects are going to come to these appointments already knowing your value. With our system, your focus becomes less about selling and more about closing. So these conversations allow you to focus more on high-level conversations. You're less focused on trying to get your foot in the door. You're less focused on persuading, trying to get someone to get to your line of thinking, right? And to understand the value that you bring. Less on educating them about security and explaining your value, and more closing the deal. More on building the relationship. More on removing those sort of those bottlenecks that might be in the process to getting them to sign a deal, right? The logistical things that need to happen in order to sign that deal. You're focused on higher level and higher order sales activities as opposed to lower order follow-up and BS. Okay, so this is the math that you see here on the bottom. Is over the next year, in order for you to create $1 million or more, if you're selling deals of a low size of typically about $50,000 in ARR, you need 20 deals this year, right? And if you have a 20% win rate, that's pretty conservative. You're going to need 100 meetings from our process, right? So 15 meetings a month times 12 months per year. I don't know what exactly that math is, but it's certainly, I think it should be about 130 or more meetings per year. So our goal is to help you to exceed the goal of $1 million this year in sales, all right? To help you to accomplish your personal and career goals and advance your career. Let's get into what this actually means. So a lot of people are sort of confused by what I mean by the majority of the selling is done before the call, right? So what happens before these calls that is going to allow you to sell more with less work? So this is what happens. Prospects are going to come to the call already understanding your value. So the way that we do this is through sales assistants that we place with you that work your LinkedIn profile to help send valuable content that we create on your company's behalf that is essentially like thought leadership within security that can help them to sort of create gaps within their current understanding of their security posture and help to move them forward faster. So this is through these sales assistants. This is how we help you to do less work. These people are going to send out this content and create this follow-up process. And I can jump into that a little bit more later. But the energy of this process is to make sure that they see the big black hole, basically. Black hole meaning the suck of energy within their security posture and the problems that can cause within their organization. The next goal is to help them to start feeling the pain of an incident before it happens. So maybe this is by telling stories of CEOs within similar industries. They've already seen the content piece before they show up to your meeting, where they've seen a CEO within the same industry as theirs who didn't take their security posture seriously. They were breached and something bad happened. Something catastrophic happened to their business, or something expensive happened to their business. They've already understand the risk, right? The authority. So before they come to the call, they'll already see your company as an expert at their particular industry. So if they're in manufacturing, the content that they will see is specifically engaged around securing manufacturing companies, their particular challenges of securing maybe their IoT devices as opposed to their particular type of data. And it will help lead them along the path of understanding how you can help them. Your unique selling proposition. This is something that's very, very, very important. So by the time they will come to the call, in the conversation, in the meeting, they'll understand why your team, your specific company, your process, your technology are better than the competition. What makes you unique and different than all the other cybersecurity companies that might be reaching out to them? Trust as well is very important. So we want to make sure that before these calls and these meetings, that these prospects are coming to the call already having seen proof that you are phenomenal at what you do. And the best way to do that is by showing case studies of clients who are in similar industry, current clients of your company right now, who really recommend your service, who have been served and have been helped, maybe by avoiding a breach or handling an incident in a really professional and quick way. So we want to make sure that prospects come to the call already knowing your value. And last but not least, pricing. So they understand and on board with their pricing. They see the massive ROI that it's going to provide as opposed to the alternatives of them trying to handle this themselves or go with someone else. And they want to get started with you guys soon. So that's the difference in the energy. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a very big difference between a lead and a qualified, pre-qualified, and pre-sold sales appointment where the majority of the selling is done. And that's what our goal is for you, is to be that marketing arm, that long game part of the game of golf, like I made that analogy earlier, that is going to help you to cover a lot more distance, to make your sales process a lot easier, to make the energy that you have to give to a deal a lot less, to make you much more effective and efficient at what you're doing. That's our only goal through this process. So this is sort of just a graph that articulates the difference in before and after of what your sales process looks right now. That's here outlined on the red in the top, where you see multiple different touch points. The cadence involves maybe a lot of different email touch points, a lot of different phone call touch points or outreaches via social media or something like that. And as you can see, it takes a lot more manual effort for you right now. This is representative. The dots and the lines are representative of your effort over the 7-hour sales cycle in order for you to close a deal. On the bottom here, you see what the process will look like once you have this growth machine enabled inside of your organization. So this is a process that involves, again, our sales assistants that are working this process for you so that you don't have to do this work, scheduled content to obliterate those objections, to do a lot of the selling for you before, and digital follow-up to basically help make sure that these deals are advanced and grown without your one-on-one time. And the goal, again, is to make sure that you save as much time as possible and you have a lot less work to do in order to close a deal and get it done. So that articulates this. And across multiple decision makers, that's also very important. We know that the average deal, there might be 5 different people or more involved in seeing a deal forward, right? And there might be hidden people along the sales process. And we want to make sure that not only just one person is sold, but everyone that's involved in this process. So we have specific content and specific value that's going to advance all types of decision makers along the process. The CFO and what you communicate to them in terms of risk, in terms of financial risk, is going to be a lot different than the way that you communicate with the founder or the CTO. So we create specific content for these people to help to sort of warm their minds and get them used to, not necessarily used to, but get them on board with this process so that you have a lot less work to do when it's time for you to shine. So that's the goal of this process, is to assist you using leverage. And as we know, digital is the future, right? It's not the future, it's the present. We all understand that online is the best way to sell right now. It's in terms of the opportunity, because there's very few people that are doing it. We want to help you to leverage this technology in order to make your job easier so that you can exceed your goals. So share this with your team. If this was exciting for you, if this was interesting for you, share this with your team. Make sure that everyone else on your team understands and is on board with this, and rise as an organization. Let us grow together. My name is Robert from Software Sensei, and I really hope to be working with your company soon. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.